Welcome back to On the Movie Front. I'm Mikey Shee.
And I'm Robbie E. To this special episode, we're going to be counting down our top 3 horror films of 2007.
It's gonna be some good stuff. Let's get it rolling.
My number 3 horror film of 2007 is Grindhouse. This is a double feature by Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez, and it isn't just a tribute to the B movies that they watched as kids. I think it's a respectful triumph to all the gore and laughter and fun that going to the movies should be. And I can honestly say, I've never had more fun watching a movie in the movie theaters than watching Grindhouse. And that's why this is my number 3.
My number 3 movie of 2007 is a movie you might not be familiar with. It's called Behind the Mask, The Rise and Fall of Leslie Vernon. This is a story written, produced, and directed by Scott Glosserman. It's a tale of a killer, Leslie Vernon, but from his point of view. This documentary crew follows him around and talks with him as he goes through his killings. Some of the dialogue in the movie is kind of witty and funny when he says, I run 20 miles a day and I do 100 sit-ups and 100 push-ups every single hour. Gotta be in top shape when I'm chasing around these girls I'm gonna murder. It's just funny stuff like that. And it's a really, really enjoyable movie. And it's shot with a documentary feel, and it's even got bits of comedy in it. But the horror that is actually in this movie and the scariness that they get you feeling is really pinpoint and is really kind of adds a new light and a new idea to the genre that I think is a really cool way of going about it.
My number 2 film would be The Mist. Frank Darabont, this is his 3rd feature adaptation of Stephen King novels, and I have to say, not his best, but it was very solid. This is more of a traditional horror Stephen King story rather than The Green Mile and Shawshank Redemption, and that's why it's my number 2, because I actually had low expectations, but it exceeded mine. There was a lot of scary aspects to the film, like what's the mist, what's in it, what are these creatures lurking around in it, and most importantly, the terror that Mrs. Carmody brings inside of the supermarket where they're all staying, and the violence that leads to that. It was very chilling, and it touched upon a lot of social issues within this the concealed supermarket. So I liked it a lot, and I do have to add that I read the story of The Mist by Stephen King, and his ending does not compare to what Frank Darabont wrote for the ending of the movie. So I have to say kudos to Frank Darabont.
My number 2 movie of 2007, as far as horror is concerned, is Grindhouse. What more could be said about these 2 movies that hasn't already been said? I mean, Robert Rodriguez is a genius. He really creates such a feel to his movies that when you watch them, you're just enthralled and taken back and just thrust into this world, and this world where zombies and there's this guy played by Freddy Rodriguez who just cuts up people. El Rey is his name, and it's just a very funny, very frightening, good zombie flick, as well as Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof, which was a technically amazing movie. The horror / thriller is you're strapped to the edge of your seat watching these car chase scenes, which are just impeccable and unbelievable. It's just some of the angles and the acting in the movie is really, really good. It is just a technically phenomenal film, as well as the previews that are the trailers that they cut together, which are very funny. It really is an experience to watch these 2 movies in the theater. I know you can't get them on DVD at the same time, but you can buy them separately and watch them together. I highly recommend it.
And my number 1 horror film of 2007 is The Orphanage. This is a Spanish language film produced by Guillermo del Toro and directed by his protege, J.A. Bayona. It's a ghost story, and I wouldn't say it's really a horror film, but since it is a ghost story, there's really no other genre to throw it in. Why I liked it so much was because it just had a superior plot to all other horror genre films of 2007. It was very mature, and in addition to the great acting and the great writing, it was pretty scary. I liked it a lot, and it was a whole lot more than just a ghost story. And just a heads up, New Line Cinema, they bought the rights to this film, so you can expect an English remake of this film probably in the near future.
My number one movie for 2007, 1408. This movie, starring John Cusack, is, to me, an acting masterpiece. John Cusack portrays this character who is a horror writer. He writes about these scary places he visits. His movies are like top 10 haunted hotels and top 10 haunted libraries. Very cheesy, they sound bad. But he wants to write his masterpiece by going to this hotel. And when he enters the room, he can't get out. He has an hour, otherwise he dies. What happens is he gets stuck, and after the hour is up, after he makes it through water and freezing cold temperatures and burning hot temperature, then the room just starts to click the ticker over again, and he has to experience it again. It's just really a heart-pounding movie where you feel like you can't escape. You feel claustrophobic in this room, even though you're watching in a gigantic movie theater. You are stuck in this room with Mr. Cusack, and he just gives a very, very good performance. And that's why it's my number one movie of 2007.
Okay, good choices. I just have to ask you one thing. Did you see Grindhouse in the theaters?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Did you like it as much as I liked it?
I really enjoyed it. It was such a fun experience.
As for the double feature is concerned, which feature did you like better, Death Proof or Planet Terror?
This is a good question. I really enjoyed both of them. Death Proof is such a technical movie. It's so, these shots, that one shot where they're just, the girls are talking at the table and the camera is just revolving around them. And even the opening shot of the movie when there's no dialogue and just the feet laid up on the dashboard as they're driving through. It's just like incredible filmography. Quentin Tarantino does the filmography for his own movies, and he's very good at it.
So are you picking Death Proof?
Yes, I'm picking Death Proof. Death Proof was the movie. It just, to me, while I really enjoyed Planet Terror, Death Proof was just the more artistic movie, which really got me. I mean, it could have been artistic and sucked, but it didn't. It was artistic and it was a really good movie. What about you?
Yeah, I'll have to agree with you. I mean, Planet Terror, I kind of felt that the double feature should have been switched around. I think Death Proof should have been the first movie.
It should have been, absolutely.
And Planet Terror the second movie. Because after you saw Planet Terror, which is just chaotic, slap-happy, like everyone just dying, gore, guts, jello everywhere, And then you kind of got that feel, and after the movie was over, you're just like all riled up, and then you kind of get into this deliberate pacing, dialogue-heavy Death Proof.
Yeah.
I loved Planet Terror was just fun, but it really wasn't anything else plus fun. As for 1408, I don't exactly agree with your high praise of John Cusack. I thought he was very solid, but I wouldn't say it was exceptional, a masterpiece of acting. He carried the film. I thought it was very good, but I mean, John Cusack is John Cusack, and I don't think he's an A-list actor. He could follow.
What?
He can carry a movie. He could throw him in any romantic comedy or something like that. But he's not really.
So much more than that. He's
I don't
so
think
good.
so.
To me, it is just like Castaway in that Tom Hanks carries that movie, and it's
Right.
only him in the movie. This is very. It's almost only John Cusack in the
that,
film. And to me, I was just riveted. I was never bored during the movie, and you have to walk away and say, "Wow, if an actor can be on screen by himself and entertain you the whole time, that is good. It's a good performance."
Definitely.
So tune in next time when we will be reviewing some more new movies.
See ya.